Mars is also pushing for universities like Macquarie to help ease the accommodation crisis.
Students should be accommodated predominantly in the Macquarie University precinct. They are, after all, their students. Why would you come to a place and have to live in a garage or a run-down shack, pay full fees to a university, receive first-class education from a first-class academic body, and have to live in a squalor?
I think it was the worst experience in Australia, my worst experience.
Lynn, as we'll call her, is a 20-year-old international student studying at Macquarie University.
My family is not very rich, but I never ever had to live in that bad situation.
In the past 2 years, Lynn has been living in the Ryde area, and she's struggled to find affordable and safe accommodation. In June 2010, Lynn fell victim to a couple of rogue landlords who sublet a house and filled it with international students.
On the advertisement here, they said that it was a big house, convenient, close to the station and close to bus stop. We have barbecue backyard and swimming pool. When I moved in, it was like really dirty.
The landlords charged Lynn and her friend $200 a week to share an unsecure room. Eventually, someone reported the house to council in December and the students were moved on. Lynn claims the people responsible for subletting the house to her disappeared, taking her bond money with them. The house is now derelict.
I just had a feeling I live in the hell.
Lynn's nightmare ended in December, but for 19-year-old Vijaya Darshini, a university student from Malaysia, her ordeal was only just beginning.
The problem starts when we're not even in Australia. The problem starts when we're overseas.
A few months ago, Vijaya and her friends applied for on-campus accommodation at Macquarie University. They were unsuccessful. 2 weeks before they were due in Sydney, they were forced to search the internet to find a place.
I found this place online, but there were no pictures, and the owner said we couldn't produce any pictures now because the place is under renovation.
Upon arriving in February, the promise of a private room in a house with 3 bathrooms turned into a partition room for $200 a week in a dirty house occupied by 8 strangers.
From our point of view, we're going to study overseas, and everyone's like looking up to you like, wow, you get to study overseas, and then you come here and you find out that, you know, it isn't that rosy.
We are new here. We don't know about the law, the rules, and if even we have like the problem, we don't know where to report.
Macquarie University has to be made aware of the fact that if you are attracting international students, you need to hold their hands from day one when they arrive and make sure that they are looked after.
Would it be fair to say that the situation at the moment for both landlords and Macquarie University is that they're putting profit above people?
I would think so. Most definitely.
Artin Ekmekjen is mayor of the city of Ryde. He says that during 2009 to 2010, the council investigated 240 complaints about boarding houses from local residents. 128 of those were confirmed as illegal boarding houses, which carries a maximum fine of just $1,500. Not much of a deterrent when landlords are raking in anywhere up to $4,000 in rent a week.
The bottom line is that council needs to be given greater powers and the ability to be able to enforce the legislation that may be introduced and to make sure that all boarding houses comply with reasonable standards.
Late this week, 7:30 New South Wales obtained a copy of a February 2011 confidential report commissioned by Ryde Council to investigate the unauthorised boarding house trade. The findings are alarming.
The project has revealed that essentially 2 groups have emerged to take advantage of this situation: opportunist investors and organised syndicates. The organised syndicates have a relative degree of sophistication. A vertically integrated structure commences with the recruitment of international students in mainland China and Hong Kong. The extent of vertical integration from information received includes migration agents, lawyers and real estate agents working in tandem to facilitate these international students.
The report also reveals that students are rotated through different boarding houses at a frequency of every 13 weeks to 6 months.
Anecdotal evidence indicates that the reasons for these frequent rotations is aimed to prevent familiarisation by the boarders of their surroundings and minimise the opportunity for government authorities to speak to these boarders. From those illegal boarding houses investigated during this project, 8 are suspected of operating this way.
What goes around comes around, and I hope it will catch up with them one day. Yeah, but it's just, it makes my heart break.